SpinTech was one of the most prestigious tech companies in New York City. Its modern skyscraper, reaching for the clouds, mirrored the fast-paced energy of the people inside. Employees always on the move, deals being made in high-rise offices with breathtaking city views. Everyone seemed important, busy with something, or so it appeared. But that morning, a woman entered the building ready to see past the polished facade and uncover the dark truths lurking beneath. Emily Dawson stepped quietly into the office wearing the uniform of a cleaner. Her simple blue shirt, black pants, and sneakers blended into the background. Employees, board members, even the CEO, Jeff Matthews, looked right past her as if she didn't exist. None of them realized who she really was. Emily Dawson wasn't just another cleaner. She was the true owner of SpinTech. Years earlier, Emily had built the company from the ground up, but she had handed over the CEO role to her brother, Paul, and retreated from the spotlight. Now she was back, disguised as an ordinary worker to see firsthand how her company was being run. As a cleaner, she could observe the unfiltered behaviors of those in power without anyone putting on a show for her status. Jeff Matthews was her ultimate test. Handsome, successful, and overflowing with confidence, he was the acting CEO of SpinTech. But he judged people purely by their appearances, misused his authority, and treated employees as disposable. For Emily, watching his behavior was infuriating, but she knew she had to remain patient to expose the truth. On her first few days, Jeff's condescending attitude was hard to miss. "Hey, new girl," he barked at her one afternoon. "You missed a spot," he said, pointing to a perfectly clean corner of the hallway. Emily gave him a polite smile, masking the anger simmering inside her. To be disrespected like this, in her own company, was almost too much to bear. But she kept her cool and played her part. It wasn't just Emily that Jeff mistreated. His arrogance extended to everyone. He belittled junior employees, barking orders at them without a second thought. Only the board members earned a shred of his respect, and even they often endured his overconfidence. SpinTech had turned into a toxic workplace, and Emily could see it with her own eyes. One day, Jeff cornered Emily during a coffee break. Leaning in with a smug grin, he said, "You know, someone like you should be grateful to even work here. If you don't do your job right, it's easy for me to replace you." Emily bit her tongue, but her patience was wearing thin. When she spoke to her brother Paul later that night, she vented her frustrations. "Jeff and his attitude are poisoning SpinTech, but I need more time. I need to be absolutely sure about everyone involved before I act." Paul reassured her. "Take your time, Emily. When the moment comes, Jeff will learn exactly who he's been messing with." That moment came sooner than anyone expected. One morning, Emily Dawson walked into SpinTech, but this time she wasn't wearing her cleaner's uniform. Instead, she wore a crisp white blazer, black trousers, and sleek heels. Her hair was styled neatly, and she carried herself with undeniable confidence. Employees turned to stare, some whispering as they tried to figure out who she was. Emily headed straight to the boardroom, where Paul had called an emergency meeting. She entered the room beside her brother, and all eyes were on her. Jeff Matthews, sitting at the table, raised an eyebrow, his signature smirk playing on his lips. "Are you lost, sweetheart?" he asked with a mocking tone. "This is a board meeting. Cleaners aren't allowed in here." Paul didn't let the insult slide. "Actually," he said, standing up, "I'd like to introduce someone very important to all of you." Turning to Emily, he smiled. "This is Emily Dawson, the true owner and founder of SpinTech." The room went dead silent. Jeff's face turned ghostly pale as he realized the gravity of the situation. Emily stepped forward, her gaze locked on him. "For the past few months, I've been working undercover as a cleaner," she said, her voice calm but firm. "I wanted to see how my company was being run. And frankly, what I found is disturbing." Jeff stammered, his usual confidence replaced by panic. "Miss Dawson, I didn't know—" "That's exactly the problem, Jeff," Emily interrupted, her tone sharp. "You didn't know who I was and you didn't care. You've mistreated me and others, misused your authority, and tarnished the values of this company. Effective immediately, you're fired." Paul added, "And legal action will be taken for your misconduct." As security escorted Jeff out of the building, Emily turned to the rest of the board. "To those of you who have acted with integrity, your jobs are safe. But for anyone who contributed to the toxic culture here, there will be consequences." Several other executives were dismissed on the spot. The remaining employees watched in awe as Emily reclaimed her rightful place at the head of SpinTech. From that day forward, the company transformed. Under Emily's leadership, it became a place of respect, innovation, and opportunity. Employees who once felt overlooked now thrived, and SpinTech's reputation soared. As for Jeff Matthews, his arrogance had finally caught up with him. And Emily Dawson had proven that sometimes justice comes in the quiet determination of those you least expect.